Alan's Horror World. My name is Alan. Of course, you guys already know that. So, sorry I haven't uploaded a review in a couple weeks. School just started back for me. So, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to make videos now, but it's okay. But there's one thing I feel like I really needed to do over the course of the next several weeks. I am going to be re-reviewing the entire god dang Halloween franchise and just freaking put it to bed until Halloween Ends comes out. So, yay! So over the next 11 weeks, you're gonna be getting a review of each and every Halloween film again. And you're finally going to get a proper review of Halloween 2018, as well as a review for Halloween Kills coming out on October 15th of this year. It's 2 months away. I'm so excited. 2 months away. I cannot wait for it to come out. So once a week, you'll be getting a review of a Halloween film. And on the 11th week, you'll be getting Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills in the same week. So that's pretty much the plan over the course of the next 2 months. So for 2 months, you're getting nothing but Halloween reviews. So anyways, let's go ahead and start it all where it all began, with Halloween 1978, shall we? So Halloween stars Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis and is written and directed by John Carpenter. It is also co-written and produced by Deborah Hill, who, fun fact, was actually John Carpenter's girlfriend at the time of making this film, but she sadly passed away in 2005 due to cancer. May she rest in peace. On a cold Halloween night in 1963, 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally murdered his 17-year-old sister Judith. He was sentenced and locked away for 15 years. But on October 30th, 1978, while being transferred for a court date, a 21-year-old Michael Myers steals a car and escapes Smith's Grove. He returns to his quiet hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, where he looks for his next victims. So I won't be going into too much detail with my backstory of Halloween because you guys probably already know it at this point. I mean, come on, like, it's my favorite film ever made. You already freaking know how much I love this movie. But I'm gonna go ahead and tell you just a tiny bit of backstory. I saw this movie for the first time in 2015. I was pretty late on the end game, like in the end game with, you know what I'm talking about. I was pretty late to watching this movie, and I was already a horror fan. I think I'd seen every Friday the 13th movie at this point. I just hadn't seen a single Halloween movie. I think I saw all the Nightmare movies at this point as well. I saw bits and pieces of The Return of Michael Myers and the remake. I only remember the ending of 4. That's literally it. And I only remember one scene from the remake. That's literally all I could remember from those movies. But other than that, I hadn't seen a single Michael Myers movie in my life. So you could basically say this one was the first film I ever saw of the franchise. And I'm pretty freaking lucky for it. I mean, I really am. So, what are my thoughts on the original Halloween? Everybody already knows. Everybody already knows how much I love this movie. This is one of, if not the best horror movies ever. Like, if it ain't the best horror movie ever made, it's definitely one of them. But it's my personal favorite movie ever. And I'm about to tell you why. But this is one of the most iconic films in cinema history. Not even gonna lie. This is one of the most iconic movies of all time. Everybody knows about this freaking movie. So, let's go ahead and get into the positives of Halloween. Again. So we're gonna start off by talking about the story of Halloween, the plot of the movie. It's a very simple plot. It's literally a deranged killer breaking out of an escape asylum. "15 years after killing his sister, and he goes back to his hometown to stalk babysitters." That's literally all that happens in this movie, and it's a very simple story, but it's extremely effective. I really like simple stories in horror movies. As long as they're done in a very good way, I really will like the movie. And this case is no exception. Even though I will admit, when I first watched it, I hated it. But I was kind of frustrated with it anyway. But I rewatched it and I'm like, wait, why did I hate this? This is a great movie. But the story is one of the most simple freaking concepts for a horror movie you could ever see. And John Carpenter still pulled it off. Because it's John Carpenter. What were you expecting? So, yeah, he knew how to pull off this freaking story. He did it with a $325,000 budget. Oh, how simple it was back then. Yeah, the fact that this movie was made for $325,000, 20 of that went to Donald Pleasance, and this movie made $70 million. I wonder why it made $70 million. Because people liked it, people loved it, people thought it was a great movie. Even though it did flop at first, but Roger Ebert came in and saved it. So, yeah. Thanks to Roger Ebert, this is now one of the all-time greats because he saved it from being a complete flop and is now one of the most successful independent movies ever made. And I can't believe we're getting a 12th film this October. A 12th film. And it's been 43 years since this movie came out. Almost 43 years. Almost, not quite, but almost. It's been over 40 years since this movie came out. It's freaking crazy. But the story is very, very simple, but it is extremely effective. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some of the acting performances in this movie. Not all of it is great, and I'll get into that with my negatives. Because yes, I do have a negative with this movie. I know. Are you surprised? You probably are. But I'm gonna talk about the acting performances by Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. They are very, very good in this movie, especially Pleasance. Pleasance gives one of the all-time great performances in this movie. He is magnificent in his role of Sam Loomis. I love this character, and Donald Pleasance was probably the perfect choice to play this character. I know that Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were asked to play the role, and they refused to, and Christopher Lee even said it was the biggest mistake he had ever made in his career. I mean, it would have been interesting to see, like, Dracula play Dr. Loomis, but I actually do think that Donald Pleasance was the perfect choice for this character. I am glad it worked out that way. He only took on the role because his daughter loved John Carpenter's score in Assault on Precinct 13, which, no, I still haven't seen, but I will someday, don't worry. That's literally the only reason he took on this role, and yet he still gave an iconic performance. He is so, so good in this movie. Like, I can't even describe how good he is in this movie. It's a groundbreaking performance in my mind. It's one of my all-time favorite performances, so I gotta give credit to him for that. And Jamie Lee Curtis, this was her first film. Yeah, everybody already knows this at this point. Yeah, this was her first film, and she would have not taken on this role had she not been the daughter of Janet Leigh from Psycho, which, little fun fact, is my second favorite horror movie of all time, right behind this one. I adore Psycho, and I will finally review it one day. I mean, I did back in 2018, but I deleted the review because it was so bad. But yes, Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Janet Leigh from Psycho. By the way, rest in peace to Patricia Hitchcock, who had a cameo in Psycho. She passed away a couple days ago at the age of 93. May she rest in peace. But yes, had she not been Janet Leigh's daughter, had she not been her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis would not be the Scream Queen she is today. Okay? She wouldn't be. Because she would have never been in this movie. I heard that Anne Lockhart was supposed to be Laurie Strode in this movie, but I think she had too many scheduling conflicts, so they put Jamie Lee Curtis in here after Deborah Hill learned about the whole Psycho thing. She is very good in this movie. For her first ever film role, she is magnificent. Jamie Lee Curtis is one of my all-time favorite actresses, and I adore her in this movie. It's not my favorite performance by her. That is going to be another film in this franchise that I'll get into in a couple weeks. But she is magnificent in this movie. There are a few times where I will admit she's a little whiny and a little bit over the top in the third act, but it doesn't take away from the movie. It doesn't. I still think she is very, very good for 95% of this movie. So there's that. Next, we gotta talk about the soundtrack of this movie. The score, we all know the iconic Halloween theme. Again, I have said this ad nauseum, the iconic Halloween score is timeless. You will never get it out of your head. It will always be stuck in your head. You'll never forget it because it's just too popular of a theme song. I mean, like, it literally took John Carpenter 3 days to compose the score for this movie, and yet it is now one of the most iconic soundtracks of all time. It is a magnificent score. I will admit, if you listen to the soundtrack on its own, it's really repetitive, but when you listen to it while watching Halloween, it is a very, very effective score. Repetitive, but very creepy and effective. So, again, there's that. Next, let's talk about Dean Cundey's cinematography for this movie. It's gorgeous. This movie is so beautiful to look at. It is one of the most aesthetic films. I love aesthetic. I love aesthetic in horror movies. Like, my favorite example is like A Quiet Place. It has so much aesthetic, and so does this movie. I mean, no, it doesn't entirely feel like fall because they filmed it in the spring of 78, not in the fall of 78, because that's when the movie came out, so you know what I mean. But the cinematography by Dean Cundey makes this look like it was made for $20 million instead of like 300 grand. This movie was made for so cheap, but it looks so professional. Every shot is planned. Every shot is laid out perfectly. Dean Cundey did a magnificent job with the cinematography, and he even came back for Halloween's 2 and 3 Season of the Witch. So, there's that. And the cinematography, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The cinematography for all 3 movies is brilliant. It's beautiful. Every single film is gorgeous to look at. I'm glad he came back for 2 and 3. It is kind of a shame that he didn't come back for the other films. But it's okay. We still have these 3 movies to remember him by for his work on the franchise. This next positive I'm about to mention is, it's been said by so many people, but Michael Myers is one of my all-time favorite villains. He is so freaking awesome. I love this character because he is a very simple character. He is just an insane patient from Smith's Grove Sanitarium who broke out and went back to Haddonfield to kill people. He killed his sister when he was 6. He snapped and killed her. No reason, no motive, and it's scarier that he does not have a motive. Yeah, that's the thing. The brother-sister thing, we'll get into that more when I review the second movie, but it wasn't needed. It was not needed. I think the no motive is much better than the brother-sister motive. I freaking hate that motive in the second movie with a burning passion. Now, I'm gonna say this, I love the second movie, but I hated the twist. I hated that. Oh, Laurie was his sister all along. No, he had no motive. Laurie was not his sister. Follow the 2018 film and just get out of here. But this guy is a motiveless, emotionless killing machine. The personification of pure evil. That's literally all he is. Need I say more? And finally, we're going to talk about the ending of the movie, because I think it's one of the most haunting endings to a movie ever made. This ending is probably going to leave you scared to death if you don't watch the sequels. This ending kind of terrified me upon rewatch. I was mortified. The fact that Michael could be anywhere and you hear his breathing over the shots of where he's been throughout the film is so freaking effective. It is God-forsakingly creepy. That is all I will say. It is so terrifying. Like, he could literally be in your house. He could literally be in your living room, your kitchen, your bedroom, your bathroom, your basement. He could literally be anywhere in your house. He could even be in your attic or even in your front yard or your backyard. He could literally be anywhere and you wouldn't even know it because he is the shape and he always vanishes in the thin air. Again, need I say more, okay? Like, seriously. I have one mixed aspect of this movie. It's not this movie's fault. It's rather the rest of the franchise. In my personal opinion, I don't think there should have ever been a sequel. Yeah, you heard me. I personally think we should have never gotten a sequel to Halloween. And I think that's how it was originally planned. But no, studio wanted money, 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 money. So they freaking gave us a sequel anyway. Of course they did. What a surprise. John Carpenter gave us a sequel 3 years later because producers wanted money. And they wanted to cash in on the slasher craze that Friday the 13th started. So, well, actually this movie kind of started it. But freaking Friday the 13th kicked the doors open and just tore it off the hinges. But, yeah, John Carpenter made the second movie 3 years later because studios wanted money. That's literally the only reason why. And, yeah. Shame on you, man. Shame on you. Well, he didn't make it. He wrote it. Rick Rosenthal directed it. But, like, you know what I mean. He technically made it. Shut up. But I honestly think this should have never gotten sequels because most of the sequels are pretty bad. So, well, not most of them. Actually, quite a few of them are pretty good, but some of them are really bad. And we'll get into those soon. Trust me, we will. A couple weeks from now. We're gonna get into them. Freaking resurrection. Resurrection. And now, let's get into my one negative of the original Halloween. The acting. Not by Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasence. The rest of the actors. I mean, Charles Cyphers is decent, but everyone else, nope. They're all bad. They're all bad. Brian Andrews, Kyle Richards, PJ Souls, Nancy Kyes, especially Nancy Kyes, or Nancy Loomis, as the movie likes to credit her. Now, look, I respect her as an actress. I bet she's done great stuff, but she is so bad in this movie. She is horrible. She, like, I can't even do this. Like, she is so bad in this movie, just like, I have a place for that. Lindsay? Oh, like, I can't do it. It's too hokey. I can't deal with it. The acting is so bad. Like Brian Andrews, I mean, like, oh, come on. Like, I mean, I love Tommy in this movie. I love his character, but his acting is just so laughably bad. Like, I saw the boogeyman. Leave me alone. And I'm like, oh my God, kid, you should have hired better child actors. John, I'm sorry, you should have hired better actors and better child actors for your movie. I will be making fun of them for days because they're so bad. They're totally terrible. See what I did there? You already know. It's been done to death. But overall, guys, Halloween, it's an instant classic. Everybody's gonna love this movie. Well, actually, there are people on Twitter that I know that hate this movie. So, yeah, if you're watching this video, I hate you. I hate you all. I'm just joking. I don't hate you. You're entitled to your own opinion. But in my personal opinion, Halloween's the best movie ever made. It's my personal favorite movie. No, it's not a perfect movie. There is never a perfect movie, except A Quiet Place. But it's not like, in terms of quality, of like top-notch quality, it's not the best movie of all time. This isn't the best movie of all time. Again, Quiet Place. But it's my personal favorite movie of all time. This movie means everything to me. Okay? This movie means absolutely everything to me. This means the world to me. This movie made me adore horror movies. And I already started to like horror movies, but this movie just made my love for horror movies skyrocket because of how great it was, how great Michael Myers is as a character and a villain, and of course Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis made this even better. I highly recommend Halloween. I really do. If you still have not seen this movie, which, what are you doing? Like, go watch Halloween. Like, if you still haven't seen this movie, go buy it. Go buy it on Blu-ray, buy the 4K, do whatever you can. Go buy the original Halloween. And if you are new to the genre in general, I highly recommend this movie for a first-time watch. Because this is it's a horror movie that every horror fan needs to see if you are new to the genre. And just pretty much to anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I'm going to give John Carpenter's masterpiece, Halloween, an A+. So what do you guys think of the original Halloween? Let me know in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you love it? Or do you despise it? Because I know people really don't like this movie. There are people that think it's extremely overrated. Screw you, because you're wrong. But let me know what you think of the film. So be looking forward to my review of Halloween 2 next week. I'm going to go ahead and let you know I'm going to be delaying my reviews of the Rocky franchise to November, around the time of the first movie's 45th anniversary. I'm just going to wait until then because I think that's a more suitable time to review them, and I'm just going to review Halloween again, like all the films again. So again, be looking forward to my review of Halloween 2 next week. So I think that's pretty much it. So anyway, guys, I'm Adeline. This is Adeline's Horror World. Of course, you guys already know that. I love all you guys to death. And until next time,